From Aaron Hernandez flashing blood signs that hinted at a life darker than football glory, to Deshaun Jackson's Crip-linked hand gestures that nearly ended his career, and CeeDee Lamb's banned nose wipe that sent the league into panic, these are NFL players' gang signs and their meanings. Let's get into the details. Aaron Hernandez. Aaron Hernandez's journey into gang culture began long before his NFL career reached its peak. Growing up in Bristol, Connecticut, a working-class town with pockets of gang activity, Hernandez was exposed to street life early. Reports suggest his involvement with the Bristol Bloods started around age 17, influenced by family connections and local thugs or gangsters. Prison records from 2017 explicitly listed Hernandez as a Bloods member under his gang profile, noting discipline for possessing STG, security threat group paraphernalia. This wasn't merely speculation or media sensationalism. It was official documentation of his gang status within the correctional system. The visual evidence of Hernandez's gang affiliation was unmistakable and permanent. A photograph from 2006-2007, published by TMZ in 2013, shows a 17-year-old Hernandez in a red outfit posing in front of a mirror with arms crossed and fingers extended in gestures associated with the Bristol Bloods. The symbolism was clear, red being the Bloods' signature color, the hand positions forming variations of the B or other gang-related signs. But it was Hernandez's extensive tattoo collection that provided the most damning evidence of his gang ties. His right hand bore blood in bright red script above the knuckles, a direct reference to gang membership. His neck featured a 5-point star with lifetime loyalty arched above, a core blood symbol representing unity and eternal allegiance. The meaning behind these symbols runs deep in gang culture. The 5-point star represents Blood's unity and loyalty, while blood directly signifies membership in the gang's blood in, blood out ethos of lifelong commitment. Other tattoos included a revolver cylinder with 5 bullets, which prosecutors argued in court represented specific homicides, symbolizing violence and a potential confession to shootings. The tragic irony of Hernandez's story is how his gang affiliations ultimately contributed to his downfall, despite his incredible athletic success. The Patriots released Hernandez in 2013 amid murder charges, and he was subsequently sentenced to life without parole before his suicide in prison. But not every case would prove as clear-cut as Hernandez's bloody trail of evidence. Deshaun Jackson. Deshaun Jackson faced allegations of Crip gang ties that led to his 2014 Eagles release, stemming from a controversial NJ.com article highlighting associations rather than confirmed membership. The timing of these allegations was particularly significant, coming after Jackson had established himself as one of the NFL's most explosive wide receivers, known for his game-breaking speed and ability to change the momentum of any contest with a single play. The controversy centered around Jackson's documented associations and gestures rather than criminal activity. Reports indicated he had flashed hand gestures during games that were identified by LAPD as Crip signs and had posed with reputed Crips members like Theron Shakir, a label signee who was acquitted in a 2010 murder case. These weren't random associations. They were documented connections that caught the attention of law enforcement and ultimately NFL executives. The specific gestures that drew scrutiny were captured on camera during games and in photographs. Jackson was seen forming a C with his thumb and index finger while celebrating, and rolling up fingers in ways that gang intelligence units linked to Crip affiliation. In gang culture, Crip signs often involve C shapes or specific finger arrangements to signal allegiance or warnings, and Jackson's gestures were interpreted by police as gang communication rather than innocent celebration. What made Jackson's case particularly controversial was his consistent denial of gang membership throughout the ordeal. Jackson denied membership, calling the signs neighborhood tributes and describing his associates as childhood friends he supported through legal troubles. In 2024, he sought an apology from the reporter who wrote the original article, claiming it damaged his career without sufficient evidence. The Eagles released Jackson in 2014 amid gang connections reports, though no criminal charges were ever filed against him. The decision saved the team's salary cap space, but was publicly framed around character concerns. The fact that Jackson was subsequently signed by the Washington Redskins and later returned to the Eagles suggests that NFL teams ultimately viewed these allegations as manageable rather than disqualifying. Jackson's case highlights the complex intersection of race, culture, and professional sports. Critics have argued that Black athletes from urban backgrounds face disproportionate scrutiny for cultural expressions that might be overlooked if displayed by players from different backgrounds. While Jackson's story unfolded in shadows and speculation, our next case would spark an entirely different kind of controversy. CeeDee Lamb. Lamb's signature gesture, sliding his index finger horizontally under his nose after big plays, became the center of a major NFL policy change when the league banned it in 2025 as a violent gesture with gang connotations. The nose wipe gesture itself appears deceptively simple, but its cultural origins run much deeper than casual observers might realize. According to court filings from a 2012 Bloods gang case in Baltimore, wiping the nose with the index finger and thumb can signal "I don't trust him" to fellow members, serving as a subtle warning about an untrustworthy individual or potential threat. They popularized "wipe your nose" in lyrics and videos, where it often pairs with slat, slime love all the time, or slime, slang for a close friend or ally. This rap connection has transformed the gesture from strictly gang-related symbolism into mainstream cultural expression, though the underlying associations remain. CeeDee Lamb's personal background makes the gang interpretation particularly questionable. Born Cedarian DeLeon Lamb in 1999 in Opelousas, Louisiana, and raised in Houston after Hurricane Katrina, he comes from a football-oriented family with no reported gang affiliations. His father and uncle played college football, and Lamb excelled academically and athletically at Foster High School in Texas before starring at Oklahoma, where he earned All-American honors. This background suggests his use of the gesture was more likely influenced by popular culture than gang involvement. When the NFL announced its ban, league executive Troy Vincent cited a 133% increase in violent gestures and emphasized societal context, noting that a Google search for nose wipe reveals gang affiliations. Vincent urged players to be responsible adults, framing the ban as protecting the league's image and considering the influence on young fans. Lamb's response to the controversy was notably measured and diplomatic. He expressed mild frustration on social media with "SMH, I have plenty in mind," but later joked during a Cowboys schedule release stream saying, "God forbid I'm sick," demonstrating his ability to adapt while poking fun at the rule's rigidity. This response suggests he understood the gesture's potential interpretations, while maintaining that his intent was purely celebratory. The broader cultural context reveals why this controversy resonates beyond just NFL policy. The gesture appears in various forms across social media platforms like TikTok, where teens often use it without awareness of its origins, leading to unintentional mimicry of gang signs. The next on the list masks a completely different kind of scandal: Jameson Williams. Williams' mimicry of Marshawn Lynch's crotch grab dive during touchdown celebrations has drawn significant NFL fines, primarily for being deemed obscene rather than for any gang-related connotations. The specific incident that brought Williams into the spotlight occurred on November 17, 2024, during a Detroit Lions game against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Williams caught a 64-yard touchdown pass and celebrated by leaping backward into the end zone while grabbing his crotch, directly echoing Marshawn Lynch's famous move from the 2011 NFC wildcard playoffs. The gesture was an unmistakable homage to Lynch's Beastquake run, one of the most iconic plays in NFL history. Understanding the origin of this celebration is crucial to interpreting Williams' actions. Lynch's crotch grab was explained by him as both practical, protecting himself during the high-impact backward leap, and emphatic, serving as a stamp to punctuate the dominance of a big play. The NFL fined Williams $19,697 for unsportsmanlike conduct, obscene gestures, sparking debates about league hypocrisy since the NFL used footage of the celebration in official highlights. Lions head coach Dan Campbell publicly criticized the fine as inconsistent, highlighting the contradiction between punishment and promotion. Williams' background further supports the interpretation that his celebration was tribute rather than gang-related expression. Drafted 12th overall by Detroit in 2022, after a standout college career at Alabama, Williams has faced suspensions for gambling policy violations and performance-enhancing drugs, but no reports link him to gang activity. His Scully Gang necklace, which he's promoted on social media, appears to be a personal brand rather than an actual gang affiliation, similar to how many athletes create motivational slogans around concepts like "kill the competition." The NFL's response to Williams reflects broader policies against sexually suggestive or offensive gestures under unsportsmanlike conduct rules, which can result in fines starting at $14,069 for first offenses and escalating for repeats. Williams faced another $25,325 fine during the 2025 playoffs for an unspecified, obscene gesture, suggesting a pattern of boundary-pushing celebrations rather than gang-related messaging. But even innocent tributes can pale in comparison to celebrations that ignite nationwide outrage. Drake London. London's mimed machine gun salute after scoring a touchdown was not a gang sign, but rather a spontaneous celebration that the NFL interpreted as promoting violence. The incident occurred on September 16, 2024, during a crucial Monday Night Football matchup between the Atlanta Falcons and Philadelphia Eagles. With the game tied 21-21 and just 34 seconds remaining, London caught a 7-yard touchdown pass from Kirk Cousins and celebrated by miming the shooting of a machine gun into the air. The gesture drew an immediate 15-yard unsportsmanlike conduct penalty, pushing back the extra point attempt from a routine distance to a challenging 48-yard kick that fortunately went through. The NFL subsequently fined London $14,069 for the celebration, categorizing it as unsportsmanlike conduct involving a gun-like gesture. This penalty reflected the league's long-standing policy against violent gestures, which was updated in 2017 to allow more group celebrations while still banning acts that mimic weapons or violence. The celebration occurred just 12 days after a mass shooting at Appalachian High School in Winder, Georgia, where 4 people were killed, and the Falcons had hosted the school's football team at their practice facility in a show of support. London's immediate response demonstrated genuine remorse and understanding of the broader implications. He stated it was part of a trend in football celebrations, but acknowledged that there's a lot of stuff going around in the world with gun violence that I don't think I should have displayed there. He emphasized that there was no ill intent and promised that fans wouldn't see such a gesture from him again. Falcons head coach Raheem Morris defended London's character while acknowledging the mistake, suggesting the gesture might have been meant as shooting t-shirts into the stands rather than anything violent. Morris emphasized London's good nature and noted the team's sensitivity to violence issues, particularly given their recent involvement with the Appalachian High School community. The NFL issued at least 12 fines for similar violent gestures during the season, including penalties for players like Malik Nabers, Lazard, and Jamar Chase, all for various forms of gun-related celebrations. London's single moment of poor judgment was nothing compared to what one rookie would do twice in the same game. Malik Nabers' 2 gun mimes during his rookie season refer to finger gun celebrations he performed after scoring touchdowns, which the league penalized as violent gestures rather than explicitly identifying them as gang signs. The specific incident occurred on September 22, 2024, during Week 3 of the NFL season, when the New York Giants faced the Cleveland Browns. Nabers caught 2 touchdown passes from Daniel Jones and celebrated each by mimicking the firing of guns with his fingers, extending his arms, pointing index fingers outward, and raising thumbs to simulate triggers. The fact that he performed similar gestures twice within the same game highlighted what NFL officials described as an epidemic of gun-related celebrations. The NFL responded swiftly, fining Nabers a total of $28,128, split as $14,069 per violation, classifying them as violent gesture violations. This represented one of the largest fines issued that week and demonstrated the league's commitment to enforcing its policies regardless of a player's rookie status or the excitement of scoring his first NFL touchdowns. Nabers hails from Youngsville, Louisiana, a small town not prominently associated with major gang activity, and his background includes a supportive family and focus on football from high school through LSU, where he set records without notable off-field issues. The NFL's Rule 12, Section 3 explicitly bans any violent gesture, which includes finger guns alongside other actions like throat slashing or gang signs. His repertoire includes the night-night gesture, mimicking sleep, and dances honoring former LSU teammate Kyron Lacey, indicating that his celebrations often serve as tributes or expressions of personality rather than threatening symbolism. The broader context of Nabers' rookie season shows that his celebrations were part of his adaptation to NFL stardom, rather than expressions of gang affiliation. Selected 6th overall by the Giants after a standout college career at LSU, Nabers quickly emerged as a dynamic receiver, surpassing 1,000 receiving yards in his rookie season. The incident occurred amid what league officials described as an epidemic of gun-related celebrations in 2024, with at least 5 players penalized in the early season alone. While Nabers faced consequences immediately, the next star player's mysterious punishment left everyone guessing. Jamar Chase. Chase's gesture of lifting his jersey to mimic unholstering a gun during a touchdown celebration is primarily viewed as a violent act rather than a specific gang sign, though it draws from street culture where such actions imply being armed or issuing a threat. The specific incident occurred on October 6, 2024, during the Cincinnati Bengals Week 5 game against the Baltimore Ravens. Chase caught a 41-yard touchdown pass from Joe Burrow in the second quarter, and after performing his signature gritty dance, lifted the side of his jersey as if revealing or unholstering an imaginary gun tucked into his waistband. This action, captured on broadcast cameras, wasn't flagged during the game, but was later reviewed and penalized by league officials. The NFL subsequently fined Chase $19,797 for unsportsmanlike conduct violent gesture, part of what Commissioner Roger Goodell described as a long-standing policy that would be strictly enforced. This fine was notable not just for its amount, but for the confusion it generated about what specific action triggered the penalty, leading to speculation and eventual clarification about the jersey lifting gesture. The cultural meaning behind Chase's gesture connects to urban street culture, where lifting a shirt to flash a concealed weapon serves as a nonverbal threat or display of readiness without escalating to actual violence. This act, sometimes called brandishing, can constitute a legal misdemeanor or felony in various U.S. states, depending on intent and jurisdiction, as it implies a threat. In the context of gang culture, this type of gesture can signal that someone is strapped, armed, and ready for confrontation. However, in sports contexts, particularly football, the gesture has evolved into a metaphorical boast about being strapped or prepared to perform explosively. Chase, a New Orleans native from a city with historical gang violence, may draw from this cultural lexicon without explicit gang ties, as his background includes a stellar college career at LSU and no reported criminal affiliations. Chase expressed bewilderment about the penalty and indicated he planned to appeal, describing the fine as mysterious and comparing it to similar appeals that had succeeded for other players. The fine came amid what the NFL described as an epidemic of gun-related celebrations in 2024, with over $154,000 in collective fines issued for similar violations. As a three-time Pro Bowl selection and one of the NFL's most talented young receivers, Chase had previously faced discipline for other issues, including a $31,599 fine earlier in the season for verbal abuse toward an official. Chase's confusion over his fine seems almost reasonable when compared to the bewilderment of our next player, Allen Lazard. Research indicates that Lazard's finger gun celebration is not associated with any gang signs. It appears to be a spontaneous, fun gesture mimicking the act of shooting imaginary guns, often used in pop culture for emphasis or playfulness after a successful play. The incident that sparked controversy occurred on September 29, 2024, during a New York Jets game against the Denver Broncos. Lazard caught a 12-yard pass from Aaron Rodgers for a first down late in the third quarter and, after being tackled and sitting up on the field, briefly made a double finger guns gesture, pointing both index fingers outward with thumbs cocked like hammers. The celebration lasted mere seconds and was performed in a lighthearted manner, as Lazard smiled before returning to the huddle. Despite its innocent nature, the gesture drew an immediate 15-yard unsportsmanlike conduct penalty that significantly impacted the game. The penalty pushed the Jets back from a 1st and 10 situation, contributing to a stalled drive that ended in a field goal instead of potentially more points in what ultimately became a devastating 10-9 loss. This immediate impact highlighted how celebration penalties can affect actual game outcomes. Lazard's response to the penalty demonstrated both frustration and bewilderment at the enforcement. He expressed frustration, noting he received zero clarification from the NFL prior to the incident and felt like the victim of the situation, comparing the rule enforcement to an unfair new driving law without warning. He emphasized the entertainment aspect of football and planned to appeal any fine, arguing it wouldn't make sense without prior notice. The NFL ultimately fined Lazard $14,069 for the celebration, consistent with the standard penalty for first-time violent gesture violations. Finger guns, as a hand gesture, typically involve extending the index finger like a barrel and cocking the thumb as a hammer to imitate a handgun, commonly used in pop culture for flirting, emphasis, or humor. Lazard's personal background further supports the interpretation of his gesture as innocent fun rather than anything threatening. Born in Urbandale, Iowa, and raised in a middle-class environment before playing college football at Iowa State, Lazard has no documented connections to urban gang culture or criminal activity. His previous celebrations, like the pouring tea gesture during his Green Bay Packers days, suggest he favors creative, lighthearted expressions rather than threatening symbolism. While the league has legitimate concerns about promoting violence through player celebrations, cases like Lazard's demonstrate how broad policies can sometimes penalize innocent expressions that pose no real threat to anyone. If a journeyman receiver could face such scrutiny, imagine the shockwaves when the league's golden boy crossed the line. Patrick Mahomes. Research indicates that Mahomes' gesture, mimicking shooting a rifle after a touchdown, does not appear to be a gang sign based on available reports and analyses, but rather an exuberant celebration that the NFL viewed as promoting violence. The incident occurred on November 17, 2024, during the Kansas City Chiefs game against the Buffalo Bills at Highmark Stadium in Orchard Park, New York. Mahomes connected with tight end Noah Gray on a touchdown pass during the fourth quarter of what would become the Chiefs' first loss of the season, a 30-21 defeat that ended their perfect 9-0 start. Immediately after the successful throw, Mahomes celebrated by extending both arms forward and pointing with 2 fingers on each hand in a manner that resembled holding and firing a rifle. The NFL reviewed the play post-game and deemed it a violent gesture, subsequently fining Mahomes $14,069 for unsportsmanlike conduct. The meaning behind Mahomes' gesture appears to be purely celebratory, likely drawing from themes of hitting the target or firing a shot, metaphorically to celebrate the successful touchdown pass. Mahomes, who hails from Texas, a state with strong hunting and outdoor sports culture, may have been influenced by personal or regional background, though he has not publicly commented on the intent behind this specific action. The league issued at least 12 fines totaling over $154,000 for similar violent gestures during the season, representing a sharp increase from 0 such fines in 2023. This pattern indicates that Mahomes was caught up in a broader enforcement initiative rather than being specifically targeted. The fine sparked criticism from teammates and fans, with Chiefs tight end Travis Kelce calling the policy absolutely ridiculous and arguing that celebrations are part of the game's entertainment value. Known for his clean image, family-oriented persona, and philanthropic work in the Kansas City community, Mahomes has no reported ties to gang activity or criminal behavior. The Chiefs-Bills matchup was one of the most anticipated games of the season, with playoff implications and widespread media coverage that ensured Mahomes' celebration would be seen by millions. But all of these celebration controversies pale in comparison to the chilling reality of our final case. Eric Dwayne Johnson. Johnson, a former NFL defensive back, was a confirmed member of the Lotto Gang, a hybrid criminal street gang in Georgia with ties to the National Crips and Gangster Disciples, involved in human trafficking, violence, and racketeering. Johnson's NFL career spanned from 2000 to 2005, during which he played for the Oakland Raiders, Atlanta Falcons, and Arizona Cardinals. He is particularly remembered for blocking a punt returned for a touchdown in Super Bowl XVII, though the Raiders ultimately lost to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Lotto Gang, formerly known as Last One to Take Over, also called the 30% Gang, operated as a hybrid criminal street gang, primarily in Gwinnett County, Georgia. Johnson's role within the organization was significant and multifaceted. Evidence suggests his involvement included transporting victims, providing money to gang leaders, and supplying firearms to support the organization's criminal activities. Unlike other players whose gang connections were based on gestures or associations, Johnson was an active participant in the gang's criminal enterprise, using profits from human trafficking to enhance the gang's reputation and fund illegal operations. The gang's primary criminal activity centered on human trafficking, exploiting 5 female victims, including 1 minor, through coercion, threats of violence, and sexual servitude. Johnson's legal downfall came through a comprehensive investigation that began in May 2022, following a shooting involving gang leaders Sean Patrick Harvey, president, and Sean Aaron Curry, vice president. The February 2023 indictment charged 8 members with 97 counts, including trafficking, RICO violations, kidnapping, aggravated assault, and gang-related charges. In August 2025, Johnson pleaded guilty to 1 count each of Gang Act violation, RICO conspiracy, and pimping, resulting in a 20-year sentence, 10 years incarcerated followed by strict probation. Regarding gang signs and symbols specifically associated with Lotto, publicly available information on unique identifiers for the group is limited, with no specific hand signs, symbols, or tattoos explicitly documented for the organization. As a hybrid gang, members likely adopted elements from affiliated groups, such as Crips' C hand signs or Gangster Disciples' pitchfork symbolizing power over oppression. But specific Lotto adaptations remain undocumented, possibly due to the gang's localized nature and focus on trafficking over territorial marking. Georgia Attorney General Chris Carr emphasized the case's impact on community safety, noting Lotto's exploitation of vulnerable individuals to bolster its power and influence. If you enjoyed watching this video, then go ahead and click on any of the cards on your screen for more.